Well, got one of the wagons out of the garage, and that was so I could move the 18.6 up front. And that means I got this one out. This tractor I've not touched in about a year now. I had it running last year, and it ran okay. It seemed to run kind of hot, and turns out there's a mouse nest inside the engine, so I got that all cleaned out, and I adjusted the valve lash because the valves were out of whack, and so I'm going to see if that was the hard cranking problem. And yes, the fuel line does leak a little bit. That needs to be changed. We're going to see if it's going to run though. It's trying to. See if I can give it a little bit more throttle. Well, it runs. Time for me to put it all back together and change that fuel line. I got it all put back together and turned the recoil around, so now the pull cord is facing towards the operator instead of towards the front of the tractor. The pull cord needs to be readjusted. The reason why the fuel line was leaking is because it was like rubbed through. Yeah, and they just wrapped it with electrical tape and called it a day. Well, I don't have enough fuel line around here, so I just put a fuel filter on because this thing doesn't have a fuel filter. And so I figured it's probably best it has one. For those that were wondering, they did drill a couple of holes in this dash, and they put an ammeter in where the battery light used to be, and an hour meter, and the hour meter is only reading 337 hours. And I believe this motor is from, I want to say 89 based on the decals, but I'd have to do some research to be sure. It's either 79 or 89. But now let's see how this thing runs and give it a spin.